What's up, guys? We got some more information here that's come out about the Sony and Bungie controversy of the layoffs. Some pretty damning stuff here. So this was posted by the Destiny Tracker. That's where I'm kind of seeing a lot of this from, at Destiny Track, if you guys want to follow them for some news. So we'll start from the bottom here. This is where it just began. About 36 minutes ago, this came out, saying IGN is reporting that the layoffs at Bungie happened as an apparent scramble by studio leadership to avoid a total Sony takeover. If Bungie falls short of its revenue goals by too great an amount, Sony is allowed to dissolve the existing board and take full control of the company. Basically, what we're seeing here is, yeah, like this guy says, just confirms they're trying to save their own asses. So obviously the board at Bungie decided to cut their employees, more specifically a lot of the bottom line people like QA, sound design, gameplay mechanics, all that, marketing, social media management, in order to save the upper levels board. So this is a bit of like a double-sided thing here, I would say, at least, because we think of different studios that Sony has taken over and has kind of effectively brought to, well, shit. Some of the studios here, including studios like Bend Studio, who were responsible for the Days Gone game on PlayStation, Blue Point Games, which is famous or infamous, however you see it, for their remasters. Bungie, of course, here, we can see how this is going. Firesprite here, which is responsible for Horizon Call of the Mountain, Star Citizen, Theaters of War there. Firewalk Studios, Guerrilla Games, which is responsible for Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West there. Haven Studios, Housemarque, Insomniac, London Studio, Media Molecule, Naughty Dog, Nix's Software, Polyphony Digital, San Diego Studio, Santa Monica Studio, Savage Games Studio, Sucker Punch, Team Azobi, Valkyrie. You can see where I'm going with this. There's a lot of these on here. Some of them have put out bangers. I can agree there, but generally speaking, acquisitions from larger companies, when more companies are acquired by Sony and then are gutted and replaced with their own board and whatnot, you can see a bit of what I would consider to be less incentive to innovate, less competition amongst other smaller studios. But with the way that things are going with the current board over here at Bungie, would it be a bad thing if the board were to be removed and replaced with something Sony appointed? That's up to personal preference. I can't say whether I would be grateful for that. It's like replacing one evil with another evil. Further on, we see that Bungie's leadership has referred to the QA team as non-developers in a meeting. Bungie has fired 10% of their internal QA department between early October and early November. Youch. QA is a pretty big piece of the puzzle when it comes to creating games, especially live service games like Destiny. These are the guys that are checking for bugs, checking for glitches, you know, the ones that slip through the cracks. Sure, they do get remedied with time, but without QA, you'll see a lot more of those game-breaking bugs, glitches, etc. Calling them non-developers is minimalizing the massive role that they hold. Crucial to game development. Without QA, you could be launching completely broken product. These are the ones that a lot of the new features go through, new gameplay mechanics, new systems, all of that goes through QA before it reaches public eyes. And some may be out there saying, oh, but the players are the ones who QA, they're the ones who QA. Sure, to an extent. That's a couple layers after QA. QA is what's really weeding out a lot of those issues, ones that you'll never see the light of day of because they were there to weed them out. They're the screen that protects the current player base, the general player, the casual player, the hardcore player, the veterans, everybody from glitches. I'm sure that there are way worse glitches, things that just destroy the game that you never will see because QA is there to be the front line. Absolutely crucial, huge middle finger to QA there. Chief People Officer, CPO at Bungie, Holly Barbakovi, has outright said that the layoffs were a lever that the company would pull again. We know we need Final Shape to do well, one source told IGN, and the feeling at the studio is that if it doesn't, we're definitely looking at more layoffs. So let me try and make sense of this the best way I can. Say the executives have like a budget or whatever. They allot a specific amount of time, resources, and whatnot down to typical developers, the developers who are, building the content, the ones who are writing the story, the ones who are implementing new systems into the game, the new things that you're seeing coming with the Final Shape here. They're the ones that are putting in all the work to do so, brainstorming the great ideas and whatnot. But say the executives have a cap, that they're allowed to allot towards the final shape. So no matter how hard, how dedicated the developers could be, there is the potential that the executives are holding them down. They can only work up to a cap that the executives have provided them, and who knows, their outlook for the future, that what they believe the financial goal could be for the final shape could be astronomically higher than it could ever possibly reach, setting the sights way high, an unreasonable number to reach, an unobtainable goal at that. So say for example they set that goal super high, and no matter how damn good the final shape could be, it could be the best DLC that any game has ever released ever, but the numbers that they set doesn't get met, even though it's the best DLC, the most well-performing DLC of all time for Destiny. Their goal could be so high that they're like, you know what, although we really did make a lot of money on this, and although it is considered the best DLC that Bungie has put out, because their goal is set so high, they're still gonna cut staff. And that's my prediction, is I think the final shape is gonna be a banger. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. Those are my predictions for it. I think it's gonna be phenomenal, but despite it being phenomenal, there are still going to be layoffs, and everybody's gonna be like, why? The DLC performed great. The expansion was amazing. They sold the highest numbers that they ever have sold on a DLC. No matter what number they reach, they're still gonna say, we didn't reach our goals, and we're gonna see another layoff. That's my prediction. I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, but given how the executives work over there, I would not be surprised. Continuing on, we have here, Bungie has implemented a bunch of cost-cutting measures for employees, such as studio-wide hiring freeze, so no new developers, reduced travel budgets, elimination of holiday bonuses, youch, keeping its annual Bungie Day virtual, delaying its week-long company pentathlon event to next December, and reducing numerous morale events, such as cooking and knitting classes from monthly to quarterly. So if you thought that the morale was low already at Bungie, just you wait. Bungie is also pausing or fully ending benefits like annual employee compensation adjustments to meet market rates, its new hire launch program, employee donation matching, its peer recognition program, and gift cards for employees' birthdays. And yearly studio performance bonuses this year will only be the contractually obligated 80% minimum after being above 100% for good performance several previous years running. Wow. I mean, I'm no financial connoisseur. I don't really know a lot about money, but from an outsider's perspective, from a general player's perspective, someone who has been keeping up with the story here, this is horrendous. I really do feel for the developers at Bungie right now. Many morale boosting events, which I don't know about you. I mean, I've worked plenty of minimum wage jobs, and we've had plenty of morale boosting events. And game development, I sort of consider to be like equal parts left brain and right brain. You know, you think of like tax preparation or money management, data analytics, all those types of things. Those are very heavily left brain jobs, very numbers based, statistic based, knowledge based, not very much on the creative side, but game development involves a lot of creativity, a lot of mind power, imagination has to come with that, having a vision, and having morale boosting events like such helps feed a healthy brain. It helps feed that creative side. If you're happy, if you're positive, more creative things will come from it. But removing all of these benefits that help employees feel happy and feel welcomed and appreciated in their workplace, removed from them, it sounds to me, and it could be worse than it's saying here, which I don't think it could possibly get worse than what I'm reading. And it could be not as bad as I'm reading. There could be plenty of other good things going on there, but from the sounds of it, these employees are being put through like mental hell. And of course, nobody's like forcing anybody to stay, of course, you know, but it's not doing much in order to keep their employees there. It's doing nothing but harming their mindset and harming what they want for the game. If they're not feeling appreciated by executives or by the company they work for, I don't know about you, but I've left jobs in the past because I didn't feel appreciated. In a company that is a multi-billion-dollar company like Bungie, seeing the allotment of money here going nowhere to employees, aside from your typical paycheck and maybe your 80% contractually obligated bonus, everything else that made Bungie seem like the better company to choose is going out the window. I would not be surprised to see Bungie employees jumping ship to go to different companies where they feel more appreciated. But I don't know, of course, I am just an outsider on all this stuff here, so I can't give great insight on the inner workings of things, but the best we can do is take everything that we are being given here and make our own opinion on it. And my opinion is the executives are doing everything in their power to screw over the bottom line, to cut the bottom line as short as possible in order to save their bonus, their paycheck. Because you can see here, I think of this, when they talk about no holiday bonuses, elimination of holiday bonuses, reduced travel budgets, all these things, these Bungie Day virtual meetings and stuff, the pentathlon, all these fun things, the morale boosters for a company. I see this only impacting the people who put in the work for the game to work. I only see this impacting the people who are passionate about Destiny. This doesn't impact executives. Executives, holiday bonuses, oh, they're getting the biggest this year. They don't give a damn about Bungie Day. The executives just see that as we're giving our little hamsters a treat. They're not attending Bungie Day. They're not going to this pentathlon. They're not adjusting their bonuses. They're not cutting their benefits. They're only cutting the bottom line's benefits, and it's absolutely disgusting to me. Of course, when you think very, very money driven, very, very profit driven, when you put it on paper, of course, these things, when you look at it purely as numbers, take all the human element out of it, take all of the emotion out of it and the empathy, you're left with numbers. And sure, it may make the numbers look good. And as somebody who really, really wants money to go up, it's gonna look great. These are great numbers in their mind. They're like, okay, cool, yeah, this is what's gonna make us the most money, because money makes the world go round. Fucking hate money. When you include all the context, the empathy, the human element to this stuff, it's heartbreaking to see that these people are giving their all, they're working their asses off into overtime to meet deadlines that executives place on their heads. Meanwhile, executives are doing everything in their power just to make it just that much worse. Every little new detail that comes out about this whole Sony Bungie thing is awful. But without Sony buying Bungie, where else would it have gone? Obviously, Bungie was looking to sell the rights. You don't get bought out unless you're struggling. And they were struggling, obviously. They wouldn't have gotten bought out if not. Companies who are making a lot of money and a lot of profit don't sell themselves. If Sony hadn't bought out Bungie, I'm sure Bungie would have gone under. But all this is doing is delaying what feels like the inevitable, which really sucks. It really does suck, because I do love Bungie. I love the developers and I love the games that they put out and the content that they put out. The way that things are going, I feel like it's going to be a very, very slow and painful death for this studio. As more information comes out, sure, that pessimism kicks in. Sure, I get, depressed about all this stuff. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that same sort of way. You see this stuff, you see this information, you're like, damn, things could not get worse. This is the end of Bungie. This is the end of Destiny. This is the end of their games and the story, definitely not right now. I mean, this is all stuff that has already, I'm sure, has already been put into action internally. We're just now learning about it now. And has it felt much different in game and whatnot? I don't think so. But my closing words here are just, I really do hope that things can make a turn for the better. I hope that the developers can get better treatment and have a good positive morale booster here. I do hope you guys support the developers because they deserve the support. Executives, you get none of my empathy. You get none of my positive thoughts. So I guess we'll just stick around to see what's going on in the future. That's all from me today. Wanted to relay some of this information out as it comes out. Really shitty situation. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Leave a like if you like. Subscribe. It helps out a lot more than you know. I appreciate all y'all. Take care. Catch y'all on the flip side. Deuces.